Well, hello there. Hi, Jackie.
Hi, Jen.
It's been a while.
Oh, it's been a
Been-
while.
I've missed you.
I missed you
I've
too.
missed your stories. I missed your
I don't like
face
the summer.
on a
'Cause the summer's
podcast.
like we're all on wonky schedules, and I don't get to talk to you and see you every week here. I mean, come on, that's gotta
I
stop.
know it's been bonkers last couple weeks, and it's summer and all the things with goes into the summer. You try to find fun time and all that kind of stuff. But I'm glad we're back for
Yes,
another episode.
very happy to be
So,
back.
I'm ready
Thank
to
you.
kick it off. You ready to dig in? Let's dig in.
I am ready. Oh, oh my dear.
Welcome. Reddit real estate disasters. So what's poppin', Jackie?
What's
What have
poppin'?
you been up to?
Oh, just
Jeepers creepers.
little real estate going on. Got a listing that's under contract. Well, we're not under contract yet. We're almost there. We're almost out of attorney review. And Jen, I got to say, quick story. I went out this morning with a client. We looked at a couple of houses, and I got very frustrated at the second house because the house was reduced price. It was listed at $1,095,000.
Oh,
Price dropped to $950,000. It's been on the market
okay.
33 days. We pull up to this house. Oh my God. I'm like, now it's in a very affluent town. Okay, I understand that. However, agents need to do better. And I don't want to start up by bashing agents, but we need to do better because when you're taking a listing, why would you list this house at almost 1 point? Why would they list this at just under $1.1 million when the house was excuse my French, a shithole? It used to be a rental. It was 1,800 square foot house. The kitchen was fairly new, but when we're looking at all like the little things, like it just crappy. Just the house, it's like it was just it just looked worn out, beat up. No landscaping. Landscape was that's like the first thing I look at. Yard full of weeds, and you got it down to 950. Here's my point. We got to be willing to have these conversations with sellers. Like if they think I want to sell it for 1.1 million, have that honest conversation and say your house isn't worth that. You're lucky if you get 850 for this house. And if you can't come to an agreement, walk away. Don't take the listing.
That's the key right there. That is the key right there. It goes back to the agent, right?
Yes.
The agent not being professional, not taking control of the situation, not educating their client because they're starving and they want the business.
I understand that.
They'll take the listing at any price just to have a listing,
yes,
knowing that the seller will reduce the price because they know that the house is not going to sell at the price they put it on the market on.
Right.
And that drives me bonkers because they're wasting the seller's time. Now, the sellers, you don't know if they're being realistic. Sometimes the real estate agents, will they'll try to educate the seller, but the seller is the captain of your ship. But I'll be honest, Jackie, like if I'm interviewing with a client, potential client, and I know right out of the gate before the house goes on the market, whether this is going to be someone that is, we're going to be a good team together.
Yep.
And if they're not respecting the data that I'm present, we're not connecting. I'm trying to explain to them, and I'm not trying to convince them on anything. I'm just trying to explain why the reasons why we do the things we do in terms of the pricing and the recommendations and so forth. And if they're just throwing it out the window and they're like, yeah, well, I'm gonna do whatever I want to do anyways. Yeah, I don't take that. I don't work with that person because it's going to be a nightmare. Now you put all this money into marketing and you're wasting the time. And the longer it sits on the market, the more that thing is going to be reduced, and the more money the more money it's going to bleed.
Yep.
The more and the worst part about it is it could sit on the market for so long that the agent gets fired. And now any money that they've put into it is gone.
Exactly.
But it's just that garbage. It makes me aggravated because
It
I really do feel that if an agent is, if they've really are serious about their profession and have these hard conversations, right,
Mhm.
with the sellers,
Yep.
I really feel, giving the sellers the benefit of the doubt, even the ones that are like, "Ugh," a lot of them they just need to be heard. And then they also just they don't want to feel like um they're being taken advantage of, because I hear that a lot from people that reach out on my channel, that the sellers are just like, I don't want an agent that is just going to price it low to get a quick sale. And it's like, you need to educate the seller and show on paper.
It's you got it. It's the data. You have to show the numbers don't lie. You have to educate. Anyway,
Hmm.
that was
Well,
my
that
that was
stinks.
my TED talk.
I take it they didn't make an offer on it.
No. They're like, if it gets so the wife was like, if it's down to like in the 700s, maybe I'll make an offer.
Whoa.
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
I mean, it's bad. It was bad.
The sad part about that is if they probably they probably spent like, you know, 5 grand,
Mhm.
maybe,
Yeah.
mowing the lawn, some simple landscaping,
What's
cleanup.
yes,
It
like
would
the
make all the difference. It
oh
would
my
make
gosh.
all the different money worth spent.
I
Money worth
know.
spent.
I know. Anyway,
But who
I
knows?
digress. Sorry. I
I
just had to get on give my
digress.
little TED talk today. Would agents need to do better? Have that hard conversation. If they don't want like what you say, move on. Okay, Jen, do you want to hear the stories that I found today?
Oh boy. I do actually,
Just got
because
a vast I just have a vast array of all different types of stuff. And I will tell you, I'm very excited. So when I went on Reddit, I'm finding more like recent Reddit stories, like within like the
mm,
last day or so. So this is pretty cool. I'm very
awesome.
very
Well,
excited.
not awesome in the sense that, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't you feel like this is a little bit like the real estate Jerry Springer show?
What we're doing here?
Yeah.
A little bit.
It's kind of just,
I think it's
bonkers.
awesome. I love it.
Yeah. I do too.
I love it.
I
I
love
love it.
watching the Jerry
Listen,
Springer show.
because you know what, Jen? Seriously. Come on, but who's gonna call all this stuff out other than me and you, right? Come on.
Yeah,
Let's be real.
you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
No, I'm never wrong. Come on. I'm kidding. Okay.
All right, on with the show.
All right,
Let's
here we go.
go.
I knew it. I knew you're oh my gosh, you were so funny. Where do we go? I'm just trying to okay. All right. This is like hot off the Reddit presses. This is from today, like a couple of hours ago. So you ready for this one?
Yep.
Okay. The title of this one is Pulled Out of Contract. Wanted to buy a house, but after inspection, we pulled out of the contract. Inspection didn't fail, but it was close. Cost to fix things we knew were wrong, and further inspections to calculate cost of what else would need to be fixed were starting at $20,000. Seller was selling as is and refused to fix anything or lower selling price for repairs. Due to this, we decided it wasn't worth it as we didn't have an additional $20K for the immediate repairs. We budgeted $10K for immediate repairs. We feel good about this decision, but my dad is giving me attitude saying those things could be fixed easily over time. I don't feel comfortable putting off any of the immediate repairs for the future. My father-in-law agrees with our decision and understands. My father-in-law helped with the repair estimates as he is a contractor. How can I get my dad to understand why we decided to not go with the purchase? He's a big fix-it-yourself guy and has a make-it-work attitude with things. I thought this was good, Jen, because you're a big DIYer.
Yeah, this is
So-
like a Jerry Springer show. This is like I can see this like this on the stage with the buyers,
With-
and then like
and
the
the
story,
dads.
and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden, Jerry's like, all right, let's bring out the dad, and he
Yeah.
comes out and everybody's, boo,
Yeah.
boo. But wait, the dad isn't the dad. The dad isn't the dad. He's really your cousin.
Oh my
Oh
god.
man.
So this
I
I
you know
love
what? Okay, so this is like, okay, so first time home buyers, listen up. don't tell your parents you're buying a house. No, it's
I
I
love
mean,
when parents come to home inspections too. This is another thing.
yeah, like, yeah, don't not tell them you're buying a house, but don't bring I don't know. It's
Don't
a
bring
hard
them
thing
into
because
it.
it's like you want to bring your family into it, but you got to make a judgment call on whether they're going to respect your decisions. And quite honestly, I think what they need to do, I
Yep.
think they need to just shut dad out and just be like, "Okay, dad, that sounds great. All right, we gotta go. Bye.
That
Bye."
that's
And
that's
and just
exactly
and
what I
put the
would do.
blinders on, and you don't need, I don't know, talk to your therapist. That's what I
Yeah.
would say.
Talk to your
Talk to your
therapist, but
therapist about like the dad giving him a hard time. I mean, I get the whole DIY, but here's the thing is if they're if they're concerned about the repairs and the cost, and maybe the kids are not DIY, maybe the kids don't have time. Just because you can doesn't mean you should,
right. Yep.
right?
Yeah,
Like, you know, I'm capable of a lot of things. Doesn't mean I should go buy a fixer upper. I have no time for that. I
exactly.
barely have time for the stuff around my own house,
Yep.
right? So, you know, it's I think especially uh younger buyers, like they're working like crazy. And they also don't
Oh,
want to be like slaving at their house all weekend and everything else. They want to go out and
no.
have fun. There's nothing wrong with that. There's
Yep.
nothing wrong with that, right? I
Yep.
mean, so, and maybe in truthfulness, they're like they don't want to be strapped. You can't fault someone for not wanting to dig into their reserves.
That's
You know
it.
what I mean?
That's the biggest issue with buyers today. I'm finding that they, we both talked about. I think you did on a live stream. I did a video and a live stream about it, about the 56,000 contracts that were canceled, and mostly in
Mhm.
Florida, and a lot of them were because of inspection issues. And
Yep.
now, let's face it, it's just too damn expensive to live in Florida nowadays. But so who can afford repairs on top of that? But I
Who would
think,
have thunk it? Who
right?
would have
But
thunk it, right?
I know. But I think, you know, it's scaring. It's scaring these younger buyers. I don't blame them. I mean, it's so
Mm-mm.
expensive to buy the house to begin with. I mean, if you then you got to walk in and shell out another $20,000. I get it. So
Yep.
if it was my kid, if my kid came to me and said, we were going to put an offer, we backed out and whatever, I'm not going to give him a hard time about it.
No.
Like, I
No.
understand. I totally understand that. You don't want to get it could be a total money pit. Why are you going to sink all that money into it? And then it could evolve into something else that's going to cost you
Yeah,
even more money.
I think at the end of the day, he needs to sit down and just have a talk with dear old dad,
Yeah,
because dad's probably coming from a place of concern and like probably worried that prices are going to go up even more and
true.
worried that their kid is not going to be able to afford something else,
I
and
get that.
availability. Like every parent is that has kids that are house buying age right now are worried about that. I'm
Yeah,
worried about how they're going to manage it. And in his mind, he's like, you know, you figure it out. Like, he's probably just afraid. He's probably afraid, nervous for his kids, probably coming from um, a place of caring. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Oh,
But
absolutely. But
yeah,
yeah. Anyway, so note to everybody out there: don't bring your parents. Don't tell your parents you're buying a house.
I didn't tell my parents. The second one, it
Really?
was like until like almost closing. I was like, oh yeah, by the
Really?
way,
Yeah,
yeah, just the way it
we
worked
told
out.
my parents our first house, we told them after we got our offer accepted. And because in New York, you had to go through the inspection first before you went under contract. And my dad was a
Oh,
contractor. So my dad was, and the only reason we told my dad is because the home inspection was happening. And I did bring him only to bring his contractor brain, just to make, I needed him to
yep.
evaluate the house. But he never once said, if it was bad, he definitely would have said, like, he, being a contractor, he knows what to look for. But um, yeah, he was awesome, like going through the inspection, like just, he followed the inspector around and he checked out, all the things, and he said, no, it's fine. But I don't think he really loved the house for us, but it didn't matter. He's like, this is our thing. But if it was falling apart, he would have had an issue with it. But I trusted him because he was a contractor. But anyway,
I
that's
would
it.
have loved. I wish I had met. I wish I want to meet your mom. I wish I met your mom
No,
to
she's
because
she's
your
been
mom's
done. She's been
Yeah, your
gone
mom's
for
been
6
gone for a
years.
while.
Yeah, both my
Yeah,
parents are gone. Yeah.
but you were telling me about your mother and the Sicilian,
She well,
and,
what
she'd
she
probably
was
go in and be like, you know, she'd probably
well,
be like, "What the what the"
what the oh. No, the funny thing is, Jen,
"This kitchen's too small."
she was Irish. My father was a Sicilian, but she thought she was
Oh,
Italian the way she behaved. She was a little redheaded
yeah,
Irish chick, shorter than me, and she
and
didn't mess
she'd
with
be a
her.
firecracker. She'd be a real
Total
estate agent's nightmare.
totally, totally, totally would have been a yep, exactly. But anyway,
Oh
all
god.
right. So
All right,
let's
what else you got?
let me close this one out. Let's go on to that. Okay, this is kind of funny. So the title of this one, you ready? The
I'm
title
ready.
is "Are Sellers Telling Me to Go F Myself?"
Well, that's fun.
Right?
That's
Okay.
this is gonna be
This is a
interesting.
good one.
Okay.
We looked at 4 houses this weekend and found one we really like. The sellers listed at 449,999, $450,000, which for comps would be considered exceptional. They bought in the start of 2023 for $280,000 and have not done anything to the property. Obviously, it didn't sell for this price, and now we found it reduced 60 days later to 369,999. So down to 370 from
Wow.
450. Okay. We put
Wow.
in an offer. We put in an offer of 360. They countered at, you ready, Jen? They countered at 372,999. The house is listed at 369,999. They countered
I
at
You know what I
372,999.
say? That's what you get.
And
That's a world class.
that's so he goes on to say, "Are these sellers just telling me
Oh.
to F off?" It sounds like they thought they were going to make around 150K for free, and now since that isn't the case, they don't want to sell. Are you kidding? Where's their agent? Where's that seller's agent? What the hell's wrong with
Oh
that
boy.
person?
If I was the seller, if the sellers pulled that kind of crap, I would fire them.
Oh my god, in a heartbeat. Are
I
you
would
kidding
not
me?
pull up with that crap at all.
No.
So that's the end of the story?
Yeah, that was it. So
So it's
so
3
the
so they
question is, are the sell they wanna know, are the sellers trying to tell me to F off?
oh, the
The
sellers are playing games.
they're playing games.
The sellers are totally
They're
playing
trying to
games,
get
like
every penny out of it. Yeah.
yeah, they're probably like, "Oh, we're gonna get them in the door," or their
Yeah.
agent is playing games. The agent is playing games to be like, "Hey, drop it down. You don't have to sell it for that amount, but drop it down the
Yeah.
door, and then we can negotiate from there."
Yep.
It's possible. I feel like oftentimes, yes, the sellers do. I mean, absolutely, homeowners pull crap, right?
Well, it's all the
But
time. Yep.
I think a lot of it comes from the agents. These freaking unscrupulous, you know, shady agents that are just like anything to make the deal work, just want to get the buck. You know what I mean? And
Right,
they suggest things to the sellers. That's what I think.
but to counter offer higher than what the asking price is, that is just ludicrous.
Mm, like
Why?
why?
Why
Like
would
why?
why would you do that?
Why? Well, I
That
can
I
tell you why. They probably so they can get them up higher so that they can land somewhere around 369. That's what they probably do. They say, "Well, we're gonna counter at 372 so
but
that the buyers will come up, and then when we come down, we'll land right around
but
where we
counter
were."
well, here's my thing, counter
Stupid.
back at the asking price to say, "No, I'm firm at my asking price. That's
Well,
what I want."
that's what you and I would do.
That's what I would have done. I would
But
have said to the seller, like, "No, you want your asking price. So you're holding firm at asking. That's your counter offer. Like, go up higher to
the only time I saw that happening, and not gonna lie, we absolutely I use this strategy was during COVID. And COVID, we would get like 15 offers
right.
and they'd all be over
Yeah.
all be over asking price. And the offers would come in and we would basically say like, we could do either highest and best, or we'd pick like 3 offers that are the best, but like all super, super close.
Right.
And, maybe you do like a counter of it's higher than the asking, but, higher than their offers even to just see, who comes. I don't I don't
Yeah.
like that strategy. I don't like that strategy. I'd rather just do highest and best.
Yes.
Um, but, it's the seller steering the ship, and if they
Yep.
say, "Hey, can we do that?" The seller can do whatever they want. It's their house. It's
Exactly.
their house, right? So,
Yep.
um, I actually had it done to me more times than I can count though.
Really.
And, yeah. Yeah, and
Wow.
it just sucks, but it was, when you're in that kind of a market, super competitive market, you
Mhm.
know, um, I call the agent, I'm like, "What the heck?" And they're like, "I know. I'm sorry. It's just what the seller wants." It's like,
I know.
ugh.
Well, listen, I got news for people. Not I mean to be rude or harsh here, but like people are thinking about
Please
selling
do.
their
It's
house.
more fun.
Okay.
Please
All
do.
right. So I'll bring out the Jersey in me. So if you're going to be
Do
selling
it.
your house in the next few
Do
months,
it.
get real with your price. Don't I'm
Mhm.
sorry, the ship has sailed. The market's shifting. I see it. I'm seeing it in the listing I just had. I thought I was going to get a lot more offers than I actually did. But look, it went to multiple offers, but it wasn't like crazy like it had been. But it's changing. So
Yep.
don't the time to be it's not you can't be greedy anymore. You can't.
No.
It's over. It's done and we're moving
Well,
on
that was
from
an
that.
anomaly. It's an
It was a
anomaly, you know what I
total
mean? That was a
anomaly and
fake
right.
it was a totally artificially inflated market due
Yep.
to A, the interest rates, B, the government flooding the money market with money, the
Mhm.
economy with money, right? They pumped a ton of money
Mhm.
into the market,
Mhm.
right? I collected unemployment, payments
Mhm.
for the first time in my life because I've been self-employed for 28 years.
Right.
But I'm like, "Oh, I'm not making hardly any money because it was, early on in the pandemic, and I'm like, I don't know what, if anything, I'm gonna be able to do and all the things and, kids." I'm like, "I'm gonna take the money and bank it because I can."
Yeah.
So there's tons of money. So you
Yep.
have all this money flooded in, plus
Yep.
people have time to look online, plus the low interest rates. It was stupid. It will
Uh,
never I don't
w
think we'll ever see that
we
market
will
again.
never ever see that again, but
I hope not. I
the
hope we don't.
the sellers need to they gotta get their mindset that it's not you're not gonna be able to command these higher prices anymore, you can't, and the agents better get on board too, and not just say like I just said with my story in the beginning, that you're talking with a seller and they're thinking, "Hey, I think I can get $2 million for my house," and you really can only get 1 million, you know, have that hard conversation and be willing to walk away from it. Don't be like, "Oh, sure, I can sell it for that price." I can't tell you how many
Right.
agents I know that do that in my area. They'll take the listing, like you said, they'll take it because they're hungry, they need it. I get it,
Mhm.
but it's oh my god, it's
They're
so
buying the
annoying.
listing.
You're
They're
buying the
buying the
listing. You're
listing.
buying the
And
listing.
that's yep.
Absolutely. So,
And that's for those listening, that's you're buying whenever an agent says that another agent's buying a listing, it means that they'll take the listing at any price.
yep.
They'll take
Yep.
it doesn't matter how priced it is. They just take it the way it is in hopes of, the seller coming to terms and having that price lower and eventually it'll sell. But they take that listing knowing full well it's never going to sell at that price.
No.
But they just want the
They
business.
just want the listing.
So that's super super looking out for the seller's best interest.
Mhm.
Oh, wicked.
Yes.
Not. Not.
So so to answer this Reddit
Really?
person's so to answer this
I just wanna
person
punch him in the head. I
you
just wanna is that bad? Like, I
mm,
get, like, the whole, like, perimenopause thing going. I just wanna take bad agents and punch them in the head.
I know.
Is that bad?
No,
Am
it's not
I
bad.
is that a bad
It's not
thing?
bad. I'm telling
I
you,
have anger issues. I
it's
got anger issues with these people.
but being in our 50s
Arr!
but being in our 50s, it's so freeing, isn't it? Because now it's like, I don't give a crap what people think about me, and I'm gonna tell you how it is. So,
Oh, well, you and I both know, you and I are both on the same page. Um, very much so. Do not care.
No.
what the real estate industry or other agents think about the content we create, because it's the number one concern. The number one concern that we both have
Yep.
is advocating for the consumer,
Yes.
which is weird in the real estate industry. It's supposed to be about it's supposed to be about the people. It's supposed to be about the
It
people.
is.
And you know what? And a small percentage, 20%, 25% of the agents do
Yep.
advocate. But that 75%, boy, they make themselves known on our channel, comments, and everything else. And I don't care.
Yeah.
You can get all mad.
I don't
I
care.
had one the other day say, I'm going to unsubscribe from your channel. I'm like, please do.
It's like, okay,
See ya. Bye-bye now.
the airport. You don't have to
Bye-bye
announce your
now.
departure. Yeah, it's like, goodbye. Goodbye. Thanks for telling me.
Yeah, you know, too bad,
I
so sad. Get a grip.
I know.
Get a grip, you
I know.
know?
We have to do better. People, the
Well,
agents
you
have
know,
to do
we're gonna
better.
take we're taking this industry by storm. And my friend Dave Sidoni, we're gonna have him on this podcast soon. He's
Oh my
he's
God.
he's the first time home buyer advocate champion.
Yep.
Feels the same way, you know?
Yes.
And
I
but
can't
in
wait to
any
meet
event,
him. I'm telling you, he's my people. Like this is I can't wait
you
to
know
meet
what we need to
this guy.
do? We need to invest in people cloning stock. And just imagine a world of multiple Jackie, Jen, and Daves. The whole real estate market.
I don't know if the world can handle
That's the
more of me.
scariest shit I ever heard in my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
More
I
than
don't
one of me?
yeah,
Oy,
more of me? I don't know
oy.
about that. I don't know if people can handle that. My family
Oh,
can barely
boy.
handle me. I don't know.
Same.
So
Same.
all right, so the burning question, the sellers are telling me to go F myself. I think they are. I think they're being greedy. And
Oh,
so yeah.
absolutely.
So we'll
Yeah. See ya.
So we can
See ya. Wait till he drops the price and then make another offer.
exactly.
That's what
Oh
I
my
would do.
gosh.
Yep.
Or
Or not, because they're probably a nightmare for the whole transaction.
probably. And you know what?
Mhm.
That's a telltale sign too. Like that I would do like, you know, I'm not working with you. I'm not, you're going to be,
Yep.
you're going to be very difficult. And I'm just going to find somebody,
Oh my God.
else.
I just realized I'm going to get it for next time. You know what I really, 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 really need to download?
Tell me.
Soundbite.
What?
From the Deadpool movie. The bye, bye, bye.
Oh,
The in
from
sync.
NSYNC? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you better have that for next time, Jenny.
Next time, I'm making that in my notes.
I'm going to remind you.
Bye, bye, bye.
Don't forget.
Not B-U-Y.
Okay. You ready
All
for the next one?
Oh yeah.
All right. This is a long one. Get your pen ready. You're going to need to take some notes.
I got my beverage. I'm good.
Okay, good. All right, here we go. All right, so the title of this, What Should We Do? And this is literally from yesterday. These people posted this. Okay, it's a couple from Texas. My wife and I are under contract on a home in Buda, Texas, just south of Austin. The home is older, and we put the offer in knowing we need all new kitchen appliances, washer, dryer, new light fixtures, painting, caulking on the exterior of the house, painting the cabinets in the kitchen and bathroom. We're prepared for that. The inspection on Tuesday came back bad. The HVAC is original to the home, 20 years old, and was non-functioning the day of the inspection, which we know is actually a good thing because now that's documented. The home previously had foundation work due to 3.5 inches of settling. The repair looks to be well done, but the settling was just stabilized, not leveled, which our inspector said is typical because of plumbing and piping concerns. Foundation work came with a lifetime warranty by a very reputable company, but would be voided due to water damage, and the home has no gutters, which could definitely void the warranty. Inspectors said gutters are a must to protect the foundation. Inspector quoted $2,000 to $3,000 to install. Additionally, the home has termite activity found in the WDI inspection. WDI inspector bid $1,200 to treat the entire house. What the house has going for it checks our boxes for the most part. New roof in July, new water heater in 2021, and the inspection only found other minor issues that can likely be resolved for under $1,000. We asked the seller to replace the HVAC, bring out a third-party foundation company to look at the repair work and current state, install or credit us for gutters, and pay the termite treatment. The home has been on the market since December and empty since February. They had it listed for $399 after lots of drops and accepted our offer of $382.5. The sellers came back and said they're getting bids for the HVAC and will replace and will get the foundation looked at, but they're pushing back on the gutters and termite treatment. We added an option fee of $500 and paid $600 for the inspection, and I really feel hung up about that cost if we pull out, which I know is silly. Which I know is a silly cost fallacy. I don't know what that means, but I feel so conflicted on what to do. We're going to push back on the gutters and termite treatment, but it's looking like they won't budge. And their agent said the sellers shouldn't be responsible for bugs. From our view, termites are a major deal, especially as a first-time home buyer and prior foundation issues that were repaired, but then not maintained due to lack of gutters makes us very wary of future issues and avoided warranty. We can't afford gutters right away. This seems like one thing after another. Our budget is going to be incredibly tight, and we are only prepared to get appliances during or immediately after closing, not gutters and termite treatment. They also negotiated for a 5-day option period versus 7, so we only have until Saturday to make a decision. What would y'all do?
Walk away.
Yep.
I'd walk away.
That's what I was
this
thinking.
is like a no-brainer. Well, the minute you said their budget was tight,
Yeah.
no.
Yep.
This is going to be another Reddit story if they go through that process. If they go through and buy that house, that's going to be another Reddit story that they got into it, and then it ends up being more stuff. There's always more than you realize because it's okay. It's been vacant since February.
Yes.
Which means the systems have not been consistently used.
Right.
All of a sudden it's occupied. These systems start getting used. And like, I'm talking just like the house being lived in. Other stuff's going to come up.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the way it works. It's a house. Yep. Other things are going to come up. And that's why you buy a house with reserves, because shit breaks. It is what it is. Yes. So if they're maxed on their budget already, and then you add in all this other stuff, no. You know what? I would almost like, I mean, if the seller came back and was like, I'll replace the HVAC, I'll get an estimate on the foundation, I'll do the gutters, and take care of the termites, maybe at that point, but no, and the agent saying the seller is not responsible for bugs.
Yeah, for bugs.
Yeah, that's just bullshit.
It is bullshit because I was just
no, it's their house, man. It's their house actively. That's like saying, well, yeah, I know the electrical box is arcing, but like we're not responsible because we're not gonna live there anymore.
Yeah, no. No, it's right.
Okay, buddy.
But here's the thing. I mean, in Jersey, like we have to, in order to get a freaking mortgage, like the house has to be treated for termites. If there's any sign of activity, the seller has to take care of that.
Okay, so how about this? How about it's just the right thing to do?
Yeah, well, that too.
Sell a house that has termites?
Yeah.
It's not a foreclosed piece of crap bulldozer house.
And it's not bugs, it's termites.
There's
a difference. It's wood. It's called wood destroying insect. Hello.
It's called the agent is trying to, air quotes, negotiate.
Yeah.
Negotiate. And they have no flipping idea because the seller's probably like, it costs us so much money. Exactly. It's like, well, you dumbass, if you had kept up on the property, what did you expect?
Yep.
What'd you expect?
I know.
Like, it is what it is. I think a house that needs work, I talked to this woman the other day that called me off my channel and she's looking for an agent referral and stuff. And she was concerned because she's like, the house needs updates. Mechanically, it's in good shape, but the house is outdated everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I don't have the means to update it. And I'm worried that the agent's going to come in and tell me I need to update this and update that and update, to sell it.
Right.
And I told her, I says, everything is saleable at the right price. If you go into it expecting the top dollar and you don't have the updates, well, wrong answer.
Yeah.
But if you don't, then you just price it appropriately. If this house was priced, I mean, it sounds like maybe it was priced appropriately. Well, guess what? Now they have other stuff that they weren't aware of. Like, that's not the buyer's fault. Oh, and by the way, good luck with the next inspection, because this stuff's going to come up at the next inspection.
Well, now it has to be disclosed. You have to disclose to the next buyer. So
I don't know. I would
walk
say
away.
From an outside perspective, and given that we have no skin in the game, so that we make a decision that's not based on emotion.
Yep.
It's all about the value and the budget. And if the value is okay, but not a great deal, and the budget is stretched, I think that's the reason why you just pack up, move on.
Exactly. Yeah.
There'll always be another house.
What exactly?
It may take a bit. It may be not convenient. It may not be convenient, but there'll always be another house.
Right. Because this is going to save them tens of thousands of dollars potentially if they walk away now. So that's how I see it.
I'm just shocked that this was in Texas, and in an area that has like a lot of inventory.
I know.
Right?
I know.
I'm really surprised, because it's like, I mean, do you think it's because of the fact that the sellers are just like, digging their heels in because they're not happy about the fact that there's tons of inventory and they don't have their way with the pricing?
No, like I just said before, sellers are still thinking they're going to make the money that people were making over the last few years, and they got it. They got to come to the realization it's not happening now. And especially if you got issues with your house, it's definitely not happening. You're not going to get top dollar. So,
well, the only way that happens is a time machine. If you could find a time machine and go back in time, you could buy that house.
Yeah.
That's a true fact.
It is a fact.
That's a true fact.
But if you got a time machine, Jen, then send it to these people. Anyway. Okay.
If I had a time machine, would you go back in time? I wouldn't want to relive I was thinking about this the other day. I'm like, I would not want to relive 20s, 30s, 40s. I don't know. I don't think I'd go back.
What I would relive?
I don't think I'd go back.
I would relive college. I had way too much fun.
Really?
I would.
Yeah, but then you got to relive all the 20s and 30s and go through all that.
Yeah, my 20s
angst and deal and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they weren't so bad. College, though, okay. I would go back to college and not go to not have to deal with the classes and doing the work. I just want to go hang out. I just go back and hang out with my friends. Party.
Oh, jeez.
Have a good time. That's all.
Yeah, that's the one thing I have. I have regrets. I never went to college. I went to college for exactly 2.5 months. Dropped it and then joined a band.
Yep.
It's gonna be a rock star musician.
But
obviously worked out.
It did.
Obviously.
Oh my God.
So I guess I'll be a real estate agent.
But you're a damn good real estate agent now, Jen. See, look where it brought you.
Thanks.
And a YouTuber and podcaster. So here you are. Doing all the things.
I love being a YouTuber.
I know, me too. Okay.
Anywho.
Anywho.
What else you got?
So this one was interesting because about the whole talk about with homeowners insurance literally going to the roof and people's policies getting canceled. Now listen to this one. This is from a day ago. Old roof is tanking my sale. And I've been hearing this a lot. What do you have? What are you playing?
I get a wicked thunderstorm. Wicked thunderstorm.
Oh, I'm like, is that your sound? Your sound?
No. Well, at the beginning of the podcast, I jumped, and that was the loudest crack of thunder I've heard in forever. And this whole podcast, I'm like, the lights a little bit, tiny flicker. I'm like, please don't lose power.
But
it's like a massive
Oh,
thunder, like right over my house. It's
oh,
like, it's
okay.
loud.
All
I
right.
can't believe you can hear that.
I
It's
heard it
loud.
because I'm like, wait, is that your sound deck?
No,
Okay.
that's like, that's the crack of thunder, baby.
Okay. All
We're
right. Let's
bringing the thunder to this
see.
podcast.
Look at that. See,
Let's go.
we're awesome. Let's do it. Okay. Old roof is tanking my sale. This is person's asking for advice. I had an offer accepted on the house of my dreams in July. The seller asked for an extra month so they could downsize. So closing is scheduled for September 5th. Everything went smoothly, but I was told insurance companies couldn't give me quotes until 30 days out. So I was waiting on that. Got the quotes, went ahead with one. Everything seemed fine. Then yesterday, the agent calls and tells me the roof is too old, so they can't insure the house. Seller has only lived there for 3 years and left the roof info blank on the disclosure. Inspector estimated it was 15 years. Insurance company looked at city permits and said they couldn't find any, so they assume it's pre 2000. I'm told they may be able to insure me if I have a signed contract to replace the roof within 60 days. But I've talked to several contractors who say they can't give me a quote/contract since I'm not the homeowner. Now I'm fully panicking. What can I do? I had to give notice at my apartment, so if this falls through, I'm homeless. What the heck? So this is I wanted to bring this up because this is a common issue that's happened. It's happening all the time now. These insurance companies, they're sending drones out even to look at roofs,
Yep.
right? And they'll say no, but they'll cancel. I've shared stories where people in my area lost their homeowners insurance after living in a home for just a few months, and the
Yep.
policy got canceled because of the damn roof.
I literally just dropped a video an hour ago
Oh,
about that exact thing. That exact thing.
see,
About, people doing that stuff. So, okay. So I would so I think the first thing I do, I would contact another insurance company. I would contact, say, sometimes, um, depending on the age of the buyer,
mm-hmm.
age is not always a thing, but a lot of the younger buyers, they go online and they get their insurance companies because they get their insurance quotes online by going direct. And oftentimes they can get a little better deal by going direct, right? But the thing is, by going direct, you're dealing with one company, right? You're
Mm-hmm.
getting an insurance quote for that one company. Okay. If you go through a broker has access to a whole bunch of companies.
Right.
And a broker can shop around and tell you if there's another company that will do it for you. I
Mm-hmm.
would call and get in touch with a broker. That's what I would do.
Yes.
I would get in touch with an insurance broker and to find out, what needs to happen. I think what probably needs to happen is you need to have you need to have a roofer do an inspection on the roof, which can be done. I've had to do that before. Call
Mm-hmm.
them on short notice. They'll come out in about a week. It'll cost them like, well, I don't know how much it costs now. Last time I had one done, it was like $200. It's
Mm-hmm.
probably like 300 or 400 now, but they'll do an inspection
Yep.
and they'll tell you, like, you know what, you've got another 5 years, 10 years, whatever, you
Right.
know? And then you've got something in writing to say that this roofing company is certifying, I guess, to a
Right.
certain degree.
Yep.
That's what I would try to do. That's
Yep.
exactly what I would try to do. But I go with I mean, if the question is, what does the roof look like? So like if the roof, when I was doing my research for the HOA, there was actually a house in Massachusetts. Holy Jesus.
Oh my God. You okay?
If the lightning strikes me dead, you have this podcast as my last will and testament. I leave my YouTube channel to Jackie. There we
Okay,
go.
thanks.
All right. It's just I have it on a record here.
All right.
Good Lord.
Oh my word.
So this company, it was actually in Massachusetts. There was an article, a news coverage on YouTube, it's a clip from a news station, and they used the drones to
Mhm.
fly over, check out this property and so forth. An older gentleman that lived there and stuff like that. He had moss visibly growing on the roof.
Oh God.
Moss is terrible on so many
Uh-huh.
levels.
Uh-huh.
It kills your roof. It gets underneath the shingles. It ages it prematurely. It kills it. So this and part of his roof, because it was under a tree, was covered.
Ugh.
And guess what? The drone saw it, and they were like, "Yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem."
Yeah.
So what does this roof look like? And honestly, if the roof, it always comes back to one thing, Jackie. An agent is not a home inspector.
I know.
Okay.
Yep.
However, if the agent is experienced enough, right? If an agent is experienced enough to take a client out and walk them through when you're looking at the house before you make an offer, there should be some feedback as part of the guidance on why we're there with them. We're not there to like walk through and be like, "Oh yeah, your sofa would look great here. Oh, I
Right.
would totally paint those colors. I would totally paint those walls red. Oh my God, I would totally do that."
Yep.
No, that is not our job. Our job is not to be a home inspector. However, it is to look out for the best interest of the client. And I can tell you right now that I look at stuff like that. If I see moss on a roof, I know from my experience of going through home inspections that that is something that is not good. And
No,
that's a red
it's a
flag,
big problem.
right? That's a big,
Big
that
problem.
could potentially now the seller could have it cleaned. The roof company could come out, could be fine. You
Mhm.
know, I have a relatively, my roof is only like, 6 years old. And last year I had a tree that needed to be trimmed back. And I took my drone and looked up on the roof and I'm like, oh, geez, it's starting.
Yeah.
So I had a tree company come and trim back the tree and then proceeded to get some stuff and I did the best I could to get the bulk of the stuff off, like to proactively.
Right.
So there's things you can do, but like, the agent is there to not just be like, oh, I'm going to present the offer now and we're going to negotiate the offer. It's like,
Mhm.
no, 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 no. This is why it kind of goes back to like, what we have been talking about for months about the quality of, the benefits of an experienced agent. And like, there's a lot of questions right now rolling around. I mean, you've seen it, you've done content on your channel about the commission laws and everything else. And people
Mhm.
chime in and say, what's the point of a buyer's
Right.
agent? What's the point? Like, why do I need it? Right. And I'm totally
Yeah.
going off on a rant here for a second, but I feel like it needs to be said. It's like, people are saying, what are they? Well, that's the reason they feel that way is because of people like this guy,
Yeah.
because the agent didn't provide any value. They didn't tell them ahead of time, you know?
Yep.
But
It's
if,
true.
you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, but let's assume that there was no moss. Let's assume there's no moss. Let's assume that it's just like a age of the house, records. Maybe it's just a picky insurance company. I would go back. I would talk to an insurance broker, and then at the same time, when you're talking to an insurance broker, you can tell them the buyer can be like, "Hey, this is the thing. Would getting an estimate, having an inspection by a roofing company help me?" If,
Right.
they and that
Exactly.
kind of thing. That's what I would do.
Yep. Okay.
My
Well, thank you.
long-winded answer to
Well,
that.
thank you. Thank you for your TED Talk. So
I'll
there
be
you
here all
go.
night.
Jen solved she solved the problem. She solved the day. Solving
One
world
roof at a time.
one roof at a time. All right. You want to hear one more? This is a
Yeah.
good one. Another good
Oh
one.
boy, I can't wait.
Well, this is all about regretful. The title of it is Regretful Home Purchase. I hate seeing these stories.
I know.
And
I
I talk
know.
about this a lot too. My channel, I do a lot of a lot of videos about home buyer regrets, and it's just it kills me. Okay. So let's listen to their story. My wife and I bought a new build home 2 years ago, and we are regretting it ever since. The house is great, fits our family just fine. It's the commute that is getting ever longer due to more and more people moving out this way. When we first purchased the house, my commute went from roughly 1 hour a day total, not too bad. But it's now more than double that due to the area building more homes. I think we were thinking that the streets would eventually be widened and the 6 four-way stop intersections would eventually be turned into intersections with stoplights, but unfortunately, that will not be happening, at least not in the next decade or more. According to the city, that will not be happening. Oh my God, at least not in the next decade or more, according to the city I live in. Apparently, they have zero plans to do anything about the single 2-lane road going in and coming out of this area. So my commute will eventually increase to several hours worth of single lane 4-way stop sign intersection.
Mm.
I talked to my wife and we were both on board to sell the damn house. At this point, a tiny apartment that's out of this area would be more than worth it, just so we don't have to piss our lives away sitting in traffic each and every day. I know it's our fault for deciding to move out here. That's on us. To our credit, though, we didn't think our experience would end up this way. We had been looking for a home for over a year and needed to get out of the rental house we were living in. We've got barely enough in savings to afford another down payment. Selling the house would put us about even financially. We are kind of looking at other new builds closer to work that weren't an option 2 or 3 years ago. Anyways, I don't know what the purpose of me posting this was. I just needed to vent. Anyways, that's been my experience with my first home. Wish it was a better one. Okay. So.
Well, that's great. I love it. Like, what did we talk about like several episodes ago? Dirty laundry.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I
Yeah.
just, I can't, I don't, I just can't. I mean, I don't know, Jackie. Back in my day, I would keep this crap to myself. I wouldn't announce and be like, hello world, this is the bad decision I made, and I'm going to tell you all about it just because I need to do that, and I'm going to blast it out, and please don't judge me. What the? Don't need to hear
I get it. I listen. I'm with
it.
you. Why do I see Facebook mom groups, posting anonymously that they want to leave their husbands and they, that they're unhappy
right
with marriages. What?
Or just like the day by day, it's like, I'm here now.
Yeah,
great. Like, the kids are at camp today.
Yeah,
don't give a shit. I'm in the commode. Do you want me to post that?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
But listen,
like, I don't understand.
What social media has done is a way to connect with other people and they feel it's a judgment-free zone, but we know damn well it's not. But anyway, let's talk about this guy's problem. Let's talk about this guy's problem.
This guy's got a problem, so here's the thing. Okay. And we don't know if he had help buying this thing. New build, they may have gone right to the builder directly on this with no representation, which is not necessarily a good thing.
Yep.
But I mean, the thing is like, if a buyer wants to do something, a buyer's agent, it's not the buyer's agent's job to talk them out of something, right? It's to educate and to make sure they understand exactly what they're doing. And sometimes you can talk a buyer till you're blue in the face and they're just like, yeah, but I still want to do it. Like, okay.
And that's like your decision, right? Yep.
That's your decision.
Yep.
So, he did admit to the fact that, it was, that it was much worse than he thought. I'm wondering if it was a situation where he stuck his head in the sand, or if he had an agent, that agent didn't bother really like looking into it to see what the probability of any of that infrastructure improvement was going to be.
Right.
And really like play devil's advocate. Like you and I have talked about that, to say like, okay, it's an hour now, but are you okay if more construction happens? It's going to be like an hour and a half. It's going to increase. Are you going to be okay with that?
Yeah.
Like, just in case.
I don't,
what I'm saying?
Projects. Yeah. Like you got, but
yeah.
Here's the thing. And I'm glad I read this because this is what I'm experiencing down in Delaware. We have a place in Delaware and this is probably where we're going to retire. The last time we were down there over the summer, we were there July 4th. the traffic was absolutely insane to get to the beach. Okay. We are literally 15 minutes from the beach. It took us 45 minutes to get to the beach on July 3rd, not even July 4th, July 3rd, because the new construction that is going up down there, it's like they buy, these builders are buying farmland and they're slapping up these houses like in no time.
Mm.
And people are just moving in droves. And it made me, now I'm concerned. Now that I've been down there quite a bit, and I'm looking at the whole traffic situation. Now in the summer, yeah, it's going to be a nightmare. If you want to get to the beach, it's going to be a nightmare. But
Yep.
do I want to live with that? It's like I said to Stephen, I said, we might need to have to rethink where in Delaware now we're going to live. And if we want to be closer to the beach, this is what we're going to have to deal with. And, he and I, like, we've dealt with traffic our whole lives living here in New York and New Jersey. It's like, I don't want to spend my retirement years dealing with traffic,
Right.
know?
Right.
So, but the point is, if you're seeing this, now I have a friend that's a real estate agent down there, and I'm seeing all this new construction going up. And I asked that question to her. So what are we doing about the infrastructure? What's happening here? And she did say, okay, in this town, they're adding, they're widening the highway. They're making like this, whatever, I forget what it was, like a bypass or whatever to divert the traffic over this way and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. But so my point is, ask the questions. Like this guy, maybe there was no new construction, other new builds going on at the time he bought this house. And this was 2 years ago. Or maybe there was. They were starting projects. Like,
I feel like he did in his story. I feel like he did, allude to the fact that, that they, because he said they went under the assumption that the streets would be widened, and it's not happening.
Right.
And which means like, to accommodate the increased traffic. So like he knew that there was going to be more new construction happening and build out and more people on the road. He knew that.
But go to the town, go to the city, see what the plans are. I
think that's the thing. And that's the message. Like, you know what? You gotta advocate. It's like what we talk about on our channels. It's like, great. If you have an agent that does that, awesome. But you still got to advocate for yourself.
Ask the questions.
You got to ask the questions. You got to go down to the town hall yourself.
Yep.
You got to go down to the town hall yourself. You got to fact check all the things, because at the end of the day, if your agent missed something, like the agent doesn't live there, you're the one that's going to have to pick up the pieces.
Exactly. And I tell my buyer clients that all the time. They want to find things out. I tell them, you go to the town hall directly and ask yourself, because I don't want, because the thing is, if I don't have all the information, or if I miss something, I don't want it coming back to me that like I misrepresented. Like I'd rather them go talk to them, get all their questions answered. And I can go and ask like 1 or 2 questions, but then they'll be like, oh, but we didn't know about this or know about that. Go to them yourselves and hear it for yourself.
Well, that's the thing is like you don't know what questions they may, they may want to ask, and I do the same thing. It's not to skirt the responsibility of doing it. It's more like they will go see, and they can hearing it for themselves. Then there's nothing lost in translation, nothing. And then they may be there and they'd be like, oh, well, what about this? And what about that? And all those things that we may not have looked into for them, because we didn't know they were even concerned about it, So I think that's 100%, accurate, and they should just do that. But buddy, buddy.
So those are my stories for today. So
well,
it's again saving the world one deal at a time. One Reddit story at a time. This is what we do.
It's just the human condition.
Yes,
that's what it is, and it's never going to change.
Nope.
I think it's just as people just share more and more about what's going on in their lives. You know what I mean? It's never going to change.
I know.
Honestly, and anything, I think it's going to get 10 times worse. I think it's going to get 10 times worse with this whole commission thing. I think over the next 6 to 12 months, we're going to have a lot of buyer bad experiences, buyer lawsuits, because of the misinformation, buyers circumventing the agents because they don't want to deal with the commission, negotiating the commission, distrust in the agent, all the things. So they go directly to the agent thinking that's the answer. But then they've got nobody asking questions for them. And
Right.
a good agent will dig out good questions. And B, they falsely think that the listing agent will volunteer information, which
Yep.
doesn't happen
No.
because the listing agent, hello, represents the other party. So
Exactly.
I think we're going to have a lot of stories, unfortunately.
We will. And so just to add to that, so this house that I'm selling right now, when I had the open house, a couple came in unrepresented. I had a fellow agent doing the open house with me, and she showed them around the house, and they basically flat out told her, like, well, they liked the house, but they weren't going to make an offer. But and she was trying to offer her services, and they said, no, thank you. We're going to be working with we're going to go directly to the listing agents, any house that we see. So there you go. Started, Jen.
Well,
it's starting.
It is what it is. You can't save everybody.
No.
You can't save everybody.
No.
It is what it is.
No.
And yeah.
Well, listen,
it just gives us more podcast material.
More podcast material, but it's also listen, it motivates you and I to keep putting out our content to educate people, because my God, people are going to be taken advantage of. I'm just saying.
I think I 100% agree. I 100% agree. I think it's kind of like this lawsuit thing has kind of it's rolled everything backwards. So it's a little bit wild west right now.
Oh yes.
And not in a good way.
No.
Not in a good way. And the intentions of trying to weed out, the bad agents and making things more competitive and, making the agents like more, transparency and honesty. It is actually done the opposite. It is actually done the opposite. I can guarantee, you know what the Reddit story I think we're going to hear? What? I think because so those listening, the lawsuit we're talking about with the changes, the national changes, National Association of Realtors, starting August 17th across the country, all agents that are a member of the National Association of Realtors, which is a lot, majority, the buyer agent compensation, if the seller is offering that, will go away. Before, the agents could see what the compensation was, and now it's going away. And on top of that, the buyer agents are required to have a contract with the buyers. And so now the buyers are, the buyers are on the hook with the buyer agent. And what I think is going to happen, because we now have the lack of transparency, I think we're going to see a lot of shady buyer agents that have these contracts with their agents wanting to get paid. They're going to call the listing agent because that's the only way. It used to be an MLS. It used to be on Zillow. So the buyer agent, the buyers, the public could see what the compensation was. Now that's gone thanks to the DOJ. Okay. And now there's nothing to prevent the buyer agent from calling the seller, asking the seller, are you compensating? Are you covering my fee? The listing agent says no. The buyer agent goes back to the buyer, and instead of saying, let's make an offer anyways and just see if we can negotiate it, they tell the buyer the house is no longer available. And they move on to the next one. And then down the road, they find out, the buyers find out that they could have gone seen that house and they could have negotiated, and they're going to sue that agent. And I think that is going to be rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. I think that's what we're going to see. What do you think?
I totally agree with you. And mark this. I'm so glad we have this on. We have mark this episode. One more.
We have proof, regardless of whether I get struck down by lightning tonight or not. We have the proof.
We're going to come back to this another year and say, oh, look, see, Jen was right.
Well, I tell my kids, if I get this plaque they got for me for Christmas years ago.
Let's assume I'm right. It will save time.
That's what the
I
plaque
need that.
says for all those listening. Let's
I
assume I'm right. It will save time. They
I
gave that
need
to me. It's
that.
sitting on my desk.
I need that on my desk. I need that. That was awesome. That was a good gift. Very good
Hey,
gift.
I think so. I really think so.
All right.
But
Yeah.
hey, this is fun, and
As
I
always.
can't believe we got through all those stories, and it's like boom, done.
Yes.
I missed doing this. So
I know.
hey, thanks for everybody hanging out with us for an hour.
Yes. Thank you,
Appreciate it.
everyone. Yes.
Hey, and you know what? With all the angst out there in the world, be nice to your neighbor. Be
Yes.
nice to that guy who's on the road who might be cutting you off. He might be actually in a rush, and he may not be a jerk after all. Give him the benefit of the doubt. You know.
Yes.
I think that I think the world needs a little bit more, a little bit, just patience and niceness and
I
all the
agree.
things.
I agree.
Righto,
Be kind.
Jackie O.
Yes, ma'am.
There we go.
I agree.
All right, everybody, be good, be safe, have a
Yes.
great week.
Bye.
Bye.